Hey everybody, Emma here, also known as 8vinyllow, bringing you all another video. Today's video is going to be kind of a little bit of everything. It's going to be a mix of my recent pickups, it's going to be a mix of VCLT and music chat, concert reviews, VC meetups, a little bit of everything. So instead of just sitting here blabbering about an introduction, I'm just going to jump right into it. And the first thing that I want to touch on is that a couple of weeks ago, I finally went, and I know I've talked about this a handful of times on this channel, I finally was able to go see Mr. Robert Cray, one of my favorite blues musicians of all time. Now, this was a concert that was supposed to be held in March 2020, and it was actually, I can't remember the original date, but all I know is that maybe 5 or 6 days before the concert, the entire world shut down because of COVID. So this was a concert that I had front row tickets to. This was a concert that Jeff Kempin had front row tickets to. So it was a major bummer to, for COVID to kind of jump in and shut that down. But it did get rescheduled. It got rescheduled a couple of times. And finally, Jeff and I and Jeff's wife, Cor, we were able to go see Robert Cray front row. And I just have to say, those who have seen Robert Cray before, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it was absolutely amazing. Being front row, I was at one side, on the left-hand side, and I was able to get just such an amazing view of the guitar and him working the guitar and watching his movements and his fingers and his hands, and that was just an unbelievable experience, seeing a master of his craft absolutely go at it. So nothing but just unbelievable reviews for that concert. The whole show was amazing. They played Right Next Door, which is my favorite song off of Strong Persuader and just a gem from the Cray collection, so that was amazing to hear. But not only that, when I arrived, like I said, Jeff and his wife Cor went, and when I arrived, I went to the merch booth and I saw a couple of signed albums. And of course, come on, it's an album, it's vinyl, it's signed, and it was probably like 20 or 30 bucks, so it was in a decent price range. And I went up to the lady that was working the merch booth and I asked, how many of those do you have? And she said, well, we start out with 3 at the beginning of the show, and I just sold one, so we have 2 more. So snagged one for both me and Jeff, so that we were both able to get one. But this is the record, a Robert Cray band. That's what I heard, a more recent release from Robert Cray, and of course you can see here that it's signed. So eventually I'll probably end up getting this framed or doing something cool with it. Came out in 2020, and this is an album of his that I didn't have already, so it's very cool to have in the collection. Now, you guys know how I feel about guitar picks, and I was on a hunt. From March 2020 to now, I've been on a hunt to get a Robert Cray stage-used guitar pick. And after the show, it's really interesting when Robert Cray plays. He uses one pick for one song and then just drops it to the floor. Doesn't throw it out, doesn't do anything, just drops it to the floor every single song. I don't know if it's just his sort of ritual or whatever it is, but that's what he does. So of course I'm sitting in the front row and I'm just watching the picks, and I'm a pick person, right? I'm watching the picks just fall, pop, pop, pop. So I figured after the show I'd ask like a stagehand or something if I could get one for Jeff and I. So after the show I walk up and they're just no, get out, get out, get out. Well, one of the workers came up to me and said, okay, after the show, go to the merch booth and I'll come out and bring you a pick or 2. So usually when they say that, they just want you to leave. I'm used to that happening as well. But I went, I stood at the merch booth, I gave it maybe a couple of minutes. Jeff and Cor were already on their way out. All of a sudden this guy shows up. He has a handful of the stage-used guitar picks, probably every single pick that was on that stage that Robert Cray used, as well as a set list. And so here's one of the picks. I gave away a handful of picks. I gave Jeff a pick. I sprinted out of the venue to get him a pick. But that's one of the picks that I got. And then the set list I know was something that Jeff had mentioned that he really, really wanted. So I gifted that to him. Speaking of Jeff, last night Jeff and Cor, they had a little bit of a vacation. They went to St. Louis. They went to Riverbend in Godfrey, Illinois. Of course, our friend here in the vinyl community, Billy Hurst's store. And they actually stopped by on their way back up from St. Louis and brought me some goodies. So I'm going to show you what he brought me. First thing he brought me, and again, this is from Riverbend. And hey, Billy, if you're watching, thanks for the couple of goodies that you sent my way. Got a couple of coasters, these are going to look amazing in the music room. And then Billy also hooked it up with some stickers. So thanks, Billy. It's on my bucket list. I promise you I'm going to make my way to Riverbend sometime at least within the next year. So that is a bucket list for me. But Jeff brought me a couple of gifts from Riverbend. He definitely did well himself, so I'm excited for when he finally gets that video up. The first thing that he got me was this Eric Clapton with B.B. King, Riding with the King, classic Eric Clapton album, and I was telling Jeff this is probably the last good thing that Eric Clapton put out. This is the 20th anniversary edition, unlimited edition blue vinyl. So nice addition to the blues collection. Really solid release from both Clapton and B.B. King. This absolutely, I was freaking out when he handed this to me. Again, shout out to Billy. Thank you for the hookup with this as well. And of course, Jeff and Core. The Beach Boys, Holland. You guys know how I feel about the Beach Boys. I'm actually seeing Brian Wilson in a couple of weeks, which I am dying for. But this was an album that I didn't have of theirs. And not only is it a first pressing, but it's also a white label promo. So I'll even open this up. I didn't even open this up yet. But we'll see. We'll see what this looks like. See the white label from here. White label promo. Beach Boys, Holland. So what an unbelievable addition to the collection. I also received some VCLT from Hannah over at the Omaha Introvert. She got in touch with me saying that she wanted to send a couple of albums my way. I think a David Bowie that I didn't have. She's mentioned something about Bert Jansch, who you guys know is my guy. And so I received this actually a few days ago, but I just haven't had time to do much in terms of music and vinyl. Finally sitting down to do this, so I figured while I'm making this kind of update video, I would do a VCLT type unboxing. So like I said, she said it was a Bowie and a Jansch. It feels like there might be a couple of things in here outside of those couple of albums, so. I will leave that. We'll kind of do an unboxing here. Okay. So first thing right on top is the notes in there, so I'm going to leave that there. First thing right on top is Navy Blues by Sloan. Now, I'm excited every time Hannah sends me something. I know it's going to be something good. Heard of Sloan, of course, but not all too familiar with their music. I don't listen to it. So Navy Blues, this came out in 1998. So I'm assuming that this is pretty good stuff. I'm excited to give that a listen. That should be excellent. All right, couple of albums in here. Right off the bat, there's a note right here. I'm extremely familiar with this cover. This is Pentangle. Pentangle, Basket of Light. I do not have this one. Of course, Pentangle with the great Bert Jansch. Fantastic folk rock group. There's the label. Absolute excellent addition to the collection. Very excited about this. I'll put the note off to the side there. There's the David Bowie. Now, don't come at me. I did not have this already. So this is an exciting addition. David Bowie, of course, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, and so on. And it looks like, this is very cool, it looks like it's on this clear vinyl. So, something I have been needing in the collection for so long. I see reissues of this all the time, so I just haven't picked it up. But now I don't have to, thanks to Hannah. So, thank you, Hannah. These things are definitely some surprises that I was not familiar with. First thing here is Happy Trails by Quicksilver Messenger Service. Blah. This is a fantastic album. I do actually already have this album on this Rainbow Capital label, but this is absolutely fantastic. And if you aren't familiar with this album, guys, you got to check this out. Seriously, solid stuff. I will probably end up forwarding this along, Hannah, if that's okay, to somebody who I think would really enjoy this. The gears are already going in my head. So, fantastic album, though. Definitely recommend checking out if you haven't already. And here's something I'm not familiar with either. Lanny Flowers Circles from 2010. No idea. Excited to figure this out. I'm going to read the note real quick to see if there's anything in there regarding that. So she writes, "Hi Emma, here are some albums I thought you would enjoy. I know you are a Bert Jansch fan, so I thought you may dig the Pentangle record. As previously mentioned, this copy of Ziggy Stardust was given to me by Jeff Kempin a few years ago. I recently got an upgrade, and now this is yours, just keeping the VC love train moving. Lanny Flowers is an excellent power pop artist, and here's an extra copy of Circles that I had." Okay, so power pop, this is going to be good. Sloan are one of the best underlined power pop bands from the 90s, and this was an extra CD I had of theirs. Navy Blues has some really awesome songs. Keep up the great work on your channel. Rock on, Hannah. So this is awesome. I can't wait to dig into this music, check out the couple of artists and bands that I'm not all too familiar with. But Hannah, thank you so much for thinking about me and sending something my way. Very much appreciated. So thank you. I'll run through some, kind of just do my, I don't even remember if I did an August haul, but do my September vinyl haul kind of video. I haven't been picking up a lot of records because I haven't been listening to a lot of records. I haven't been filming a lot. I've just been so busy. Hopefully things start to kind of slow down here in a little bit, but who knows. Anyway, here are a couple of albums that I've picked up over the last month or so. The first thing that I picked up, and you can tell that I haven't even cracked this open yet, this is the new reissue that just came out of Imagine by John Lennon. This is the Ultimate Mixes 2LP white vinyl 50th anniversary limited edition. I ordered this off of his website. Like I said, I still have to crack into it. This is that white vinyl that has been kind of making its rounds here in the VC. And I ended up picking this up actually because I know another shocker, I don't have Imagine. Haven't picked it up. Of course, know the record. Very much familiar with the album, but just haven't gotten it for the collection. So I figured this is probably the way to go with that. Also picked up because it was just so cool not to. I mean, this is where it gets me. Plus, it's Kraft, and I love everything Kraft does. This is the it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown on this pumpkin-shaped vinyl. Again, put out by Kraft Recordings. Perfect for this month of October. Grab that. Also grabbed, of course, we have to do some Cheap Trick. I have been absolutely on a hunt for the Japanese presses and had to get all shook up. Got a really good deal on this. So finally have Japanese pressing of All Shook Up. So nice. Love it. Still need to keep collecting the Japanese Cheap Tricks. That's been kind of my focus in regards to Cheap Trick in my collection. The final thing, this makes me poop myself because I can't believe I own this. I know I've talked about this album a handful of times on my channel in terms of one of my favorite albums of all time. I've talked about it in the earliest videos I've ever posted on my channel. I just have so much love for this album and give it a lot of praise. And my friends know that I talk about this album. Long story short, there we go. I can't believe it. This is the Mo-Fi Jeff Beck Truth. You guys know how much I love this album, and this sold out so fast. I have been eyeing this copy for when it was announced, and when Mobile Fidelity announced it, and I just can't believe that I have this in my hand. I already have a couple of different copies, a mono reissue, one of the probably a very early pressing. But this is just the grail for me in terms of one of my favorite albums of all time, you guys. Sold out so fast, and then they restocked it, and when I put it in my cart and went to put in my payment, it said it was sold out. So I have not had the best of luck when it comes to this, and to be quite honest, I completely gave up hope. However, my good friend Dylan, you guys know him over at the Record Spinner, he sent me a text and he said he got a copy in. Dylan hooked it up. I got it for what it goes for. So, Dylan, thank you so much for this. Just what an absolute, I'm just so excited to have this in my collection. Absolute gem. So, thank you so much. And if you guys do not have this album, Get it. Seriously. That's all for this video, everybody. I hope that all of you are doing well, staying safe, and I will see you guys for my next video. Bye, guys.